G'day, Starlo here. Unless you've been living in a cave for the last couple of years, I'm pretty sure you'll have heard of Euro nymphing. It's also sometimes referred to as Spanish nymphing or French nymphing or Czech nymphing. It's a particular style of fly fishing for trout that came out of those European countries several decades ago, and it's absolutely taking the fly fishing world by storm, particularly competition fly fishing. But now a lot of social anglers are getting onto it as well. It's a way of using a very fine leader to get a weighted nymph down in fast runs, having virtually no fly line and sometimes no fly line at all outside the rod tip. I guess I put off embracing Euro nymphing for a while, but now I've dived into the deep end, and I've got to say, although I've only had a few hours on the water, I've already caught fish. I'm really enjoying myself. I've got myself my first Euro nymphing outfit. I geared up with equipment from Manic Tackle Project. They import some great gear, and I particularly like their primal zone Euro nymphing rods. I've gone for the 3-weight, the 10.5 foot 3-weight, because it's a good all-rounder. You can fish small and much bigger water with it. I've teamed it up with one of their Fly Lab focus reels. Absolutely love this reel. You need the enclosed cage so that that fine line doesn't constantly get jammed up in there. And it's also really free spinning, which means you can hit the handles and pick up any slack line off the ground really quickly. Filled it up with some of their Fly Lab backing and put an airflow Euro nymphing fly line on it. Got some Euro nymphing leaders, some flies, and I'm about to try and teach myself. Now that's not entirely true, because I've been watching all sorts of YouTube clips on how to Euro nymph, but there's only so much you can learn by watching YouTube clips. Eventually you've got to get out there on the water and have a crack for yourself, and that's what I'm going to do over the next day or so. Come along with me as I discover the highs and lows of teaching yourself how to go Euro nymphing. I'm up on the Yukonbean River between Providence Portal and Kiandra, and conditions are pretty good despite recent rain. I've got high expectations, but I also know I've got plenty to learn. So it's a real buzz to hook up almost immediately. It's clearly not a big fish, but I don't really care. Very nice way to start the day. Lovely little rainbow. Took it right back at the tail of the pool. I'll admit I was actually lifting off for another cast when I pinned him. Pretty fish, pretty fish. Just neatly pinned. They always seem to be pinned in the apex of the top jaw. Par marks. Alright mate, off you go. Do some growing. Alright, there's going to be more fish in here, I think. There's a few caddis moths about, but not many fish rising to them, although they're clearly nymphing. See if you can spot the tiny tick in my leader sighter. Got him. Tiniest twitch. You've got to strike at anything you think might be a fish, because 9 times out of 10 it is. It might only be a little sprat like that, but the next one could be a beauty. Sardine size, that one. From there on, it all became a bit of a blur, with fish after fish falling for the little dead-drifted tungsten bead nymphs. Got him. They bit under sunlight and cloud, in the wind and during calm spells. A mix of rainbows and browns. Most of them were small, but the action was remarkably steady. Euro nymphing has a bit of a reputation for producing a lot of small trout, and that's certainly true. But that's because there's heaps of small fish in most streams. Don't worry, Euro nymphing will also produce bigger trout. You just need to work your way through the little fellas. And they're all great practice, not to mention heaps of fun. You don't realise just how many trout there are in some of our rivers and creeks until you start doing this stuff. It seems our high country trout fisheries are alive and well. And the neat thing is that thanks to those little barbless hooks, it's easy to let them go in excellent condition. I probably shouldn't lift him on the light leader, but there we go. But I was really keen to find something a bit bigger, so I pushed on up the river, probing every likely run and pool on my way. Lovely fish. Came out of that fast water up there. There's no way I would have got a nymph down to him on conventional gear. The red spots on that, just gorgeous. There you go, mate. I'll do some more growing. Concentration is absolutely critical when you're Euro nymphing. Oh, that was a take. That was a take for sure. Line control. It's all about line control. You need to be straight in touch with that nymph when it lands. Get your sighter up out of the water. And watch for any unusual movements at all in that sighter material. Sometimes you'll feel the takes, other times you'll see them. I want to just keep a little bit of slack in that line between the tip and the water, not too much. I don't want it, if it's tight, I'm dragging the fly downstream, accelerating it and causing it to lift. If it's too loose, I just simply won't detect the takes. So it's a fine line, literally. This is good water. I'm a bit surprised I haven't caught one in here. Because if they're there, and they're at all feeding, you don't usually miss them with the Euro nymph. Such an effective way to fish. Just takes a little while to get your head around the unusual feeling of casting without any fly line outside the tip, or with only a couple of feet maybe. So you're just using the weight of that fly, and to do that you need to basically make an oval cast, come through underneath and over the top, keeping a tight line all the time, and you'll be surprised you do develop some accuracy and some distance with it after a while. I'm really surprised I haven't caught one in here though. It just looks so good. There will be one in here. Maybe they don't like this fly I got on. It's just like any other kind of fly fishing. You need to find what they're feeding on. It really pays to fish every inch of water. Try and grid the run out in your head and just work all the different seams, different angles, current breaks, and success will come. Every now and again the fly will just hang up briefly on the bottom, and you've got to lift the tip to see if that's a take. Sometimes they'll be quite aggressive, the takes. The the line will actually jolt back upstream, but other times it's just a very subtle change in the drift rate of your line and your sider. Trying right over under the other bank now. Okay, we'll go right up into the eye of the pool here. If I was a fish, that's where I'd be. The speed of the current down on the bottom is appreciably slower than it is on the surface because of friction with the stream bed and turbulence. It's a lot slower down there, so that's why this is so effective. You've got your fly down there moving at that lower speed close to the bottom. It's very hard to achieve in a lot of areas with a standard nymph and indicator type setup that we used for so many years. It's actually quite an inefficient way to cover water. You're just not in the strike zone a lot of the times, whereas with the Euro nymphing, you can keep it in the strike zone much, much longer. Okay, watch that leader butt. There! Got him. Ha ha! Had to be one in there. Ooh, it's not a bad fish. He's gone under that opposite bank. Such light gear. I'm on a 5X tippet here. Oh, it's a nice fish, which is about 4 pound breaking strain. And I've got a lovely brown. Oh, so good. I knew there had to be one in there. Grab my net. Certainly need a net with these light tippets. Oh, he's a lovely fish. That's very satisfying to just work your way through that water with a lot of confidence. And he's only just hooked. There he is, in the net. Woohoo! I'll come and give you a look at him. Beautiful brown, probably a little bit over the pound mark, maybe 1.25 pounds on the old scale. Oh, the flies come out. And there he is. Oh, I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, I'm going to drop my rod, take him up here and let him go. Euro nymphing. Love it. There was a definite spring in my step now. I was getting the hang of this. I began approaching each run with confidence, sure that I'd get at least a take in most of them, and sure enough, I was soon on again. It was small but strong and took off in the flow. Strong fish in that current. Not a big fish, but got him into the backwater now. Ooh. He's got other ideas. He's gone back out in the current. Got to be really gentle with these skinny tippets. Very easy to break them off. Love the smooth drag on this reel. You just want enough drag on there to prevent an overrun, really. It's a rainbow. Don't think I need the net. Very good. Chunky little rainbow. Gee, went hard. Back down on the lower reaches of the river later in the day, I was able to hook a few more in much slower flowing water too. And I was still enthusing about that Fly Lab reel. Such a smooth drag on this reel, and you need it with these light tippets. It's not a big fish, but it's really going home.
Just using the current. Oh, it's a nice rainbow. I might keep this fish. Don't mind eating the odd rainbow. Haven't got him yet, of course. See if I can net him down here without falling in a wombat hole. Oh, they're so strong. So much fun on this gear. Just completely changes your perceptions. Sure, you catch a lot of small fish in the Euro nymphing, but when a better one comes along, it just feels so good. Let's pick up a bit more line. There we go. Nice little 1 pound rainbow. Perfect for the smoker. Just pinned absolutely perfectly in the apex of the top jaw, and out it comes. Yep, I reckon I'll keep that one. Gorgeous.
What an intense couple of days that's been. Talk about a steep learning curve. I caught something like 40 trout in 2 days. Now, a lot of them were only small, but I got some better ones, and I also lost a couple of absolute crackers. So I'm obviously starting to get a few things right. But the most important thing is I know I caught trout in places and in numbers that I could not possibly have done using any other style of fly fishing. This Euro nymphing really has a lot going for it, especially in the sort of water that I've been fishing. Now I know I've got the right gear for it. It's going to become part of my arsenal for sure. It's not something I'll do every time I'm on the water, but I really enjoy it. I've got a lot to learn, as you could probably tell from watching, but I'm looking forward to the journey, and I'm also looking forward to sharing it with you. I hope you'll come along with me. Until next time, this is Starlo wishing you tight lines. I think that was the one.